Hello again, guys. This is Greg and Katie from Beach City, live streaming Myriad 2018 via Facebook. I am here with Alan. Alan is from M8 Ventures. We're really fortunate enough to be talking with him today, so thank you to Everledger and Investor Sunshine Coast for letting us talk. First of all, how has been your Myriad experience so far?
It's been intense and slightly overwhelming, and that's just how I like it, really. Like, I want a sense of abundance and rushing around to try and catch up with as many people as possible and see as many startups and things as possible.
Yeah. And you've seen quite a few so far?
Yeah, absolutely. The startup garage, I lost count at about maybe 50 startups, and there were more than that. Audio, drones, cars, software as a service, stuff in the cloud, mobile apps, stuff for agriculture, stuff for industry, stuff for consumers. There's a lot happening here in Queensland. I think I heard the other day that Queensland now has more startups than Victoria, right? So Queensland's moved to number 2 on the list. That's an incredible achievement. That doesn't happen by accident.
It definitely doesn't. Yeah, a common theme that we've been hearing is how supportive the Queensland Government is of young, Queensland-based Australian startups, and I think that's really exciting, and it's a really exciting time to be at Myriad. Have you had a highlight so far? There's too many. There's way too many.
I liked Dr. Larry Marshall from CSIRO this morning. Talked about how what we still need to change as a nation to make it into the leaderboard of the most innovative nations. Yeah. And he said that Australians are still innovating in isolation too much. Yep. Innovation is a team sport, yep. And we need to get better at cooperating and moving forward.
Definitely. So do you think M8 Ventures, so going global as a young Australian startup, do you have a bit of an insight into how that would look?
Yeah, so my first opportunity to work in a global startup was centuries ago on some products that became part of MSN eventually.
Okay, yeah.
And after that, I left Microsoft to go and join a little scrappy startup that nobody had ever heard of, and that turned out to be called Yahoo, and that went really well. Hard to believe, but centuries ago, Yahoo was a cool company. And
so true.
And so a few times I've been over to Silicon Valley for an extended period of time. I worked in the industry there, and Australia has always drawn me back. And we talk about the fact that there's this boomerang effect. So Australia has an advantage in lifestyle, in education, in healthcare, in quality of life, basically, that we no longer need to worry about a brain drain of our best talent going to the US or going to Europe or going to China. It'll go there, and then those people will come back when they're ready to start the next phase of their lives.
And do you think when they come back, they're bringing back new skills and new experiences that, again, is going to recycle back and help Australians move overseas again? Is it kind of that good sort of cycle of we go over there, we learn, we come back, and we teach ourselves?
Yeah. So Emily and I are raising capital for a venture fund at the moment, and a lot of the people that we're getting excited about the fund, who are committing to the fund, are people who are early hires in that first generation of Australian tech startups.
Yep.
And a lot of their career has been overseas, and now they're back in Australia to start a family or to get access to better quality of life. And so they bring that capital back and they bring that experience back. Yep. And then they start thinking about, now I've got my home and my family and all of that all sorted out, I want to participate in the entrepreneurial space again.
Yep.
So we can say, look, take a little bit of your own personal capital and invest it in some of the startups that you like. Yep. Because you're an experienced tech startup person, you ought to be good at this, and then take a little bit more of your capital and put it in a fund so that you get some diversification over more startups than you could manage yourself.
So as an investor, are there certain traits or elements that you look for in a startup? I know we've had a lot of people talk about the characteristics of the founder or the culture of the team. Is there something specific that you look for?
Yeah, there's a whole category of venture capital in other markets which is not available in Australia here yet. And we call it emerging management. So emerging manager funds are usually started by people from a product or a technical background, and they work with a relatively small amount of capital. But what they specialize in doing is in looking for great product and technical teams and the people behind them. So when traditional venture capital or traditional funds management looks at an early stage startup, they have to wait until they see growth in customer numbers and growth in revenue before they really know whether or not that might make a good investment.
Yep.
But there's a few years of life in a startup before you've got customers and revenue going up and to the right. And in that period of time, you can still be investing in the startup if you know what to look for, and what you look for is a great product and technical team. So, for most people, for our parents, if they stand behind a coder as a coder works on software, it's like watching The Matrix. There's this gobbledygook passing over on the screen. But Emily's the talented CTO. She can read that gobbledygook. And I'm a product manager. I can understand how a product team works. So there's an opportunity there to invest in an early stage, to help an early stage company really take this seriously, to give them some external validation that what they're working on might have real commercial merit and they might be successful. We're only a small fund, so we're also working to have a close relationship with the larger venture capital funds there, so they can pick up and run with this from a Series A or a Series B stage onwards. We'll focus on identifying the talent at pre-seed and seed.
And have you seen plenty of talent around today so far?
Yeah, I've got a back pocket full of business cards that I'll go through. I bought a pair of headphones. I would love to walk away with that enormous drone. I don't know if you saw that down there.
I did see that, yeah. Who's doing that one?
I don't think it'll fit in my incoming luggage.
Was that with Boeing? Is that their Boeing setup down there?
Yeah. Various electrical scooter devices and tricycle things. Those are all really cool. I have an electric skateboard at home that I love to ride.
So do you think, was there a set reason you came to Myriad? Was it to just meet people and collab? Was it to invest, or is it kind of all of the above?
Yeah, so venture capital is about really understanding supply and demand, and so on the demand side, we need to understand our potential investors really well, and then on the supply side, we need to understand all of the great deal flow out there in the ecosystem. So for us, Myriad is a tremendous opportunity to get across, the biggest agglomeration of tech startup innovation in Queensland and maybe even in Australia.
Fantastic. Well, Alan, thank you so much for coming in and chatting to us today.
Thank you.
Thank you to Everledger and Investors Sunshine Coast for having us and letting us meet fantastic people like Alan. We're still going here today, and we're going to keep streaming to you guys live. This has been Greg and Katie for City Beach. We'll see you guys again.